Okay, welcome to the CyberNova Podcast. My name is Jannes. I'll be your host for this session, and I'm here joined today by Pelle from HP. Pelle, nice to meet you. Can you maybe introduce yourself in a couple of sentences so that everyone knows who I'm sitting here with?
Sure. Hi, Jannes. Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for the invite. I'm Pelle Aardewerk. I speak to cybersecurity information officers, to ministries around the world, almost on a daily basis around the topic of endpoint security. And I'm a global advisory on behalf of HP Inc.
All right. And
we sell laptops, printers, desktops, and we are very competitive in cybersecurity and endpoint security. And that's a hot topic today.
All right. Can you maybe explain in one sentence endpoint security? It's a subset of cybersecurity. What can I expect from that?
Yeah, well, endpoints are, for example, the laptops, but also the mobile phones.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not a commodity device anymore. Huh? It's a very critical device, especially during the hybrid work today.
Okay.
We work with the endpoint everywhere, and that's, I think, exactly where the internet, the data, the users, the apps, everything comes together. And that's where we're not always behaving very secure.
Okay, we'll get into that later. First, you've been working in cybersecurity for more than 20 years, if I'm correct. When did you first realize that the digital world would shape real-world safety?
Well, the fun thing is technology is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
And hence cybersecurity is always changing. So that's why I like to be in cyber, to protect eventually humanity, our families, from cyber threats. And yeah, if you look what happened in the last 5 years, we've seen a big shift in digitalization, in AI, in adoption of that. So more and more functionalities to gain more productivity. But at the same time, on the other side of the elastic, we have to worry about our privacy and our cybersecurity. And hence you see, for example, GDPR came along. You see a lot of new from the European Union cybersecurity regulations coming. And that's an always important play. And that actually leads to you can do things better from a secure by design perspective than reactively detective after the fact.
Okay. I've also got a question prepared for that part, but we'll get there later. I'm going to stick to the flow that I had in mind. I saw somewhere that you said that 2026 will be defined by espionage and sabotage, if that's right. What's already happening today that most people like me are missing? Stuff that's going on behind the scenes, things you can share that are going on that people are not aware that they are.
Yeah, well, many nation states have their own cybersecurity program.
Okay.
And if you think about technology, we are using today in our countries. Yeah. Ask yourself how much of the technology is actually made in your own country. Okay. So mostly we are dependent on technology from outside our country and outside the European Union. And we don't know on the technology and component level if there's spyware, if there are keyloggers, for example, in that technology. We know that it's happening, that it's possible. And so we have to prevent that actually from our own technology. I will come later to how HP is doing that. But that's a key topic, really, because we all procure that technology because it was cheaper and had great functionality. But we don't trust it anymore because we know that espionage is being used to steal data, to steal intellectual property, to steal credentials, and then do bad things with that.
Yeah, how big or prominent is that concern, really? Is it shaping policy decisions, or is it a kind of necessary evil or risk you're willing to take?
I would say that depends on the vertical, on the type of business you're in. So if you're a student, you see, what can happen? I'm just a student. But if you look to the critical sectors, the healthcare, the drinking water, the energy sectors, Ministry of Defense, police, those type of, then it's very critical. And then you have to protect yourself against that and also choose the right vendors you want to work with. in your supply chain and ecosystem.
All right. Maybe to get there, dive into it a little bit more. You've been warning people about supply chain tampering, like devices being altered before they reach the end user. How does that happen? How can a laptop be corrupted, be poisoned before I get it?
Yeah, good question. So what's happening is that there's many steps in between before an endpoint. So let's talk about the laptop in this case reaches the end user. And what HP, for example, can control is that the right components are going into the factories where we assemble the device. And at the end, when we have the device ready, we know high quality, there's no spyware, the firmware is correct, the hardware, etc. There's no keylockers or something in it. But then the moment we send it to the end user or to the customer, it goes first to a warehouse, maybe to a customs department, a logistics provider, etc., etc. So they can partners. So there can easily be 5, 6, 7 partners in between before it arrives at the customer. And how do you know then that nothing happened in between? I think about the pager attack some time ago when these walkie-talkies blew up.
Yeah.
And everyone said, I didn't do it, but it still happened.
Somewhere in that supply chain.
And that is really difficult to do, right? But to open a box with a laptop and then do something and close the box again, that's much easier.
Okay.
So what HP has done, we actually, before the laptop or desktop or printer leaves our factory, we sign it with a private key, and we use strong cryptography. And then when the end user receives it, the first step is actually to check with the public key, is the hash total still the same? To make sure that nothing happened on a component level to the device, and we say, okay, you can use this reliably. Or no, there's something wrong, let's investigate, don't use the device.
Okay, so there's a lot more going on than we as the end user realize.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you made me realize that the stickers, the seals that I just will open, I'm like, oh, do not use if tampered with. I'm like, I wasn't really aware of the importance of that seal, let's say, because in my mind, what's the worst that could happen? Someone looked at the laptop and put it back, but apparently there's a much bigger threat.
One of the strategies some nation states have is to steal intellectual property and then start doing it yourself, right? And then we all know China, there's a great example. They can do things cheaper, but they first have to understand how to do it. And if you build in some espionage software or in the hardware, you can come a long way. And that is, you make it competitive and steal that business eventually. But also thinking on nation state attack level, if you can impact devices which are used by ministers, C-level, doctors, chip makers, you can also steal a lot of sensitive secret data there. Or in military, for example.
Yeah.
So that is where it's obviously more critical.
Yeah. All right. I can imagine. You've mentioned before that the office printer can be the weakest link in the security setup. I was blind to it, so what's the worst that could happen from a compromised printer, or how does it work?
Yeah, what they try to do is to, because the printer is these days a network device. It's almost like a PC. But it's often not managed like that. It used to be standalone. It used to be managed by facilities. Now you see most companies managed by IT. But what hackers try to do is to hop onto a printer and from there hop onto the network.
Okay, so it's basically the entry point, and then
it's an easy entry point to the network of a company. And from there, of course, you can go a long way. You can hide yourself. You can destroy certain things, bring down the availability, but also you can steal data, for example. And so a printer also should be managed like a mobile phone or a laptop these days.
So the I imagine that even like software updates and stuff are very important to do them regularly because they have security patches. And I've worked at places where it's not that rigorously managed, I think.
Yeah.
So
it starts with accountability. It starts with who is seeing it as a critical device. And then I would say to simplify a printer, you have the 3Ds. So you need to manage the data. You need to manage the document you're printing, and you need to manage the device itself.
Of course.
So the data, you have to manage input and output, and what's in memory, and you have these days a lot of remote printing, and that all needs to be encrypted, right? To make sure that data cannot be intercepted, for example. And the document, if you print, make sure that you authenticate yourself first, multi-factor authentication, because passwords are not strong enough anymore. Okay. And then you only can print and get access to the document itself. And a device, and that's where HP is very competitive, you need to make sure that people cannot go into the device itself. Try to install a malware, a firmware attack, get access to credentials in the device, open the device, install something, etc., etc. Okay. And that is where we can talk about HPS's own security chip in every device, and that always checks, did anything happen to the firmware or to the hardware? Is anything being modified? Is it up to date? And if there's one anomaly, it will automatically restart, reboot, picks up a clean copy of the BIOS. Okay. So there's two BIOSes on the motherboard.
All right.
And restart in a safe mode from there.
Okay. So like there's a dedicated piece of hardware in every printer and other products that checks for security vulnerabilities and flaws or tampering. Cool.
Simply said, if you open your laptop and you press the power button, it will wake up the battery, it will wake up the CPU or the GPU or the NPU these days. It will wake up the BIOS and then the operating system and then your applications and data. So the security chip sits actually between the power button and the CPU already.
Okay, so it before anything happens.
Before anything starts up, you see protected by Wolf Security on an HP laptop. Yeah. And it will check, there's almost 1 million lines of codes in the firmware. Damn. Is there any anomaly? Okay. Did anything happen overnight? And
before anything happens, that's the first thing when you push. You check, and you're like, oh, it's, the few seconds that you wait between the push and when it's on, that's what's happening in the back.
There's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then
2 seconds, million lines of code.
And in case everything is okay, everything will start up. In case there's an anomaly being detected, we know, and that can easily happen overnight. If you leave your laptop in a hotel room, you install you can buy it for $20 on the dark web. And there's a firmware attack, you restart your PC and it's there. It goes unnoticed.
Okay.
So it will see one enemy, it will automatically restart, pick up a clean copy of the BIOS. It's an HP BIOS, which is on a different partition of the motherboard, and will start up in a safe and secure mode from there.
That's very cool. It's something that's protecting me that I wasn't even aware of. So that's
why we're here, huh?
Yeah,
many
exactly.
people actually don't know. That is why we always believe we have the most secure device.
Okay.
It's one of the functionalities.
Okay. Well, maybe zooming in on user behavior, your talk here is called Click Happens. People will always make mistakes. How do you build systems that assume a bad click will happen or people will make mistakes? Is it merely the hardware or how do you approach that?
Yeah, the solution I will talk about later is a combination of hardware and software. What we believe is the new, the best technical solution these days. But if you think about hackers, they always try to come in through the easiest link way. And what you see is that more than 70% of cybersecurity incidents start at endpoints these days. And more than 90% is through clicking on a link, going to a browser, or to a file, usually in an external email. And you saw that a lot of companies invested in a type of Mimecast email scanner, right? Is anything we don't recognize, stop it, don't open it directly. And then companies have antivirus and antivirus next gen. and then if you have some more money, if you're bigger, then they choose for endpoint detection and response, for example. The problem is with AI, first of all, there's a lot of deepfake emails which are harder to recognize, but also AI is helping to create your 0-day new malware and ransomware attacks. And those are not recognized by signatures based on what we know in antivirus. So they go through that. So how you prevent actually happening that, we have a solution we call SureClick. And what SureClick does is everything which is untrusted, which is being opened, or simply said, where you click on, is being opened in a micro virtual machine. Think about a little container.
Yeah.
And it's isolated from the host.
Okay.
So we let it run. The user doesn't see the difference, right? But if there's something malicious there, it cannot escape and impact the system, move to the network, etc.
So it's like the real world equivalent of opening something in a vacuum, like from in the movies. It's, they come back from outer space, like, we don't know what it is, put it in a vacuum, we open it, but that virtually.
Correct.
So you don't see it. It's just, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we can do that because we combine hardware and software. So it's connected to the CPU as well. And we use hypervisor technology to do that. And so we make sure, people can safely click on files, use USB sticks, open browsers, protect their credentials.
Okay, cool. You already touched briefly on the speed of which AI is changing that stuff. I read somewhere that you said that there's more than 350,000 pieces of malware that are being created every day, accelerated by AI.
Yep.
Do you ever feel that we as the defending side, or you as the defending side, I'm putting myself with the good guys right now, are finding a battle that we mathematically are, cannot win or are very far behind?
Well, you can look at AI in three ways. First of all, you need to protect AI itself, and making sure that the training data and the algorithms are giving you the right output. Then you have AI for the attack side, as you mentioned, and AI for defense.
Of course.
To easier detect threats, for example. And usually what you see, and no one knows who's going to win, but you tend to see that attackers usually are a little bit faster than the defense side, right? It's very reactive mode. Yeah. And that's what we also see today with AI, is that you mentioned 350,000, and that number is growing. But it's about what we see, that new malware is being created. And they're not all attacking us, but the likelihood that someone clicks on the wrong link or opens something, a file, or scan a barcode, and that's malicious, is higher and higher.
Yeah.
And then because detective systems are also using AI to faster find anomalies, that's great, but it already happened.
Yeah.
And that's why I strongly believe you need to move more from detective security solutions to preventative security solutions.
Okay.
That's where isolation comes in as a great solution.
Yeah, that's the virtual vacuum that we're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Maybe something a little bit different, but it fits in the right theme. HP is deploying quantum-resistant chips right now. Why defend against something that doesn't really exist yet, or is kind of existing? How does it work?
Yeah, now where we started today with is that technology is always changing.
Yeah.
And we know that quantum computers are coming up at some point in time. And they're beasts, right? They can do things so much quicker and so much faster. And one of the concerns is that they can also break cryptography. So our systems these days, our identity access management, but also blockchains, depends on cryptography from a security perspective. You can imagine if you break that, and especially the asymmetric cryptography, you can get more easily access.
You're losing me a bit there. Asymmetric cryptography?
Yeah, the cryptography goes very far with zeros and ones and algorithms, etc. But that's, I would say, a weaker cryptography than others. But it's often used, and it was strong enough. It was good enough anymore.
Was good enough.
Private, public keys, name it. What you see the experts believe that will be broken somewhere between 2030 and 2034. Then no one knows exactly when, but that's how fast quantum computers are progressing. So if you procure technology, and in this case, for example, a laptop, and you use it for 5 years, today is 2026. So you also need to make sure it is still secure in 2031.
Of course.
So that's why HP already invested in PQC, post-quantum computing.
Okay.
And we worked on cryptography, which we believe is already quantum proof.
Okay.
So we multiplied various algorithms and provided such a strong key. And that's also the enterprise security chip, which I mentioned. We believe is already quantum proof.
Okay.
So that will actually prevent access to the device, preventing firmware attacks, espionage, etc., etc.
All right. Makes it very real because quantum computing sounds, for me at least, as something quite far in the future. It's coming, but like it's still a bit vague, especially as an everyday consumer, let's say. But already the technology that I'm using is being actively defended or guarded against quantum computing, and that makes it very real.
Yeah, and I know a lot of CISOs, a lot of companies are starting to look into this. But especially when you work with your suppliers and they provide technology with a life cycle, you need to make sure that your suppliers already have this as part of the design, secure by design, because you will use that technology for years often. And especially in operational technology, in the critical infrastructure, they use sometimes technology for more than 10 years. So you can imagine you also want to make sure that you don't need to swap out all the technology at some point and replace it with quantum-proof technology, because it's very costly. So that's why I think this is the right time already to put it in your RFPs, because procuring technology is also a security decision.
Yeah, maybe like I've heard you say that security will become a competitive differentiator as well. What does it look like when a company treats security not just as a product feature, but as a moat or as a long-term strategy? How does that work in your vision and in your implementation of that?
Yeah, what we said, security is even often an afterthought.
Yeah.
And then often what you see with new projects, so most companies always focus on functionality, new technologies in projects. And then when the money is gone and the project is dismantled, then they say, we also need to do security. That's then very hard, right? So it's very important that with every initiative you do a security impact assessment, do a privacy impact assessment, because often what you see, then you either choose not to do it, because there's too much exposure, or you do it, but with built-in security at an early stage already within the project. And then you may also choose different technology, different vendors sometimes, because of security is an important part of new technology.
But you've also said that you don't believe in 100% secure. How do you get CEOs and people visiting here or listening to the podcast to focus less on the perfect prevention and more on recovery, resilience, or what happens, the what if?
100% will never exist, because technology will always change, and hackers will always refocus their attention on weaker links. I don't think there's many companies in the world or nation states with exactly the same security architecture. So we all have different systems, sometimes often coming to spaghetti. Then you come up with new things, and it all needs to be interoperable at the end of the day. So that's not that easy. It's pretty hard. So what is important, of course, to move from detective to preventative, and to do secure by design. But when things go wrong, like you said, resilience, digital resilience is very important. How quick can you go back to operations, to business continuity, disaster recovery plans, etc., etc. I can give you a practical example of what we do. So that enterprise security chip I was talking about has also a free function which we call Sure Recover. And let's say a company is hit by a ransomware attack, and no one can get access to their systems anymore, because you have to pay ransomware. They can enable remotely I mean, it's great to see everyone back in the office and meet each other, but not when they all have the same problem, right?
Yeah.
So I'm first, because that can take days before
the
everyone
bottleneck is in a huge company is insane, I think.
Yeah. So with the recovery function, people can actually enable that themselves remotely. And within 20, 25 minutes, the device will recover, will connect to the factory image or own company image, and will image from there, start up again. And then at least people can do the basics they need to do again from their own device again.
So if I'm understanding correctly, it's a remote way for the end user to restore your device from a previously saved, like the image is a digital copy stored somewhere, that you basically get a new computer or a default settings computer for your company remotely, and it's the ransomware is gone. It's in the other discarded.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can work again. Huh? You get your device, your storage, your operating system, your applications, if they're not impacted, at least.
Okay.
And you can do the basic things probably again and be productive, and that's most important. Huh? That's why resilience is important.
Of course, and, because it can happen. Click happens. Yeah. What happens afterwards?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think I've covered the deep dive part. Maybe some more lighthearted stuff to round up. But on your other hand, if you're allowed to, but if you're a cyber criminal today, what kind of vulnerabilities would get you excited? And also maybe from the defense side, because we're rooting for the good guys. What's the emerging stuff that you're really working hard on to defend against?
I think there's different levels. So I'm very worried about wars and nation-state attacks, because it's easier instead of physical weapons to use the internet, to use endpoint devices to get in and bring down the critical infrastructure, or poison water, bring down electricity. We have already seen examples of that. Hospitals, name it. So that is what's worrying me. So I think all those critical infrastructure sectors are recognized by the European Union, for example, in a new regulation which is called the NIS2. The financial sector, I'm not sure you've seen on Netflix 0 Day.
No,
as a movie, but you see the impact when you bring down the financial systems.
I can imagine
and what that means to people, and that you get hungry after a few days, and what people do, and the complete chaos.
Yeah.
So that's also worrying.
Yeah.
And maybe on a lower level, what worries me is that we work hybrid, and that's there to stay. And a lot of these devices, mobile phones, but also laptops, get stolen. But there's data on it. So you always also need to think about, okay, what do you do? Now, what HP is offering, we built in a cellular module in the device. So even when your device gets stolen, the IT administrators can then see, okay, where is the device? Is it at a location where people can say, I left it there, or
is it all of a sudden the other side of the world? And
in most cases, you see it's not at the same location as it should be.
Yeah.
That means it's stolen. And they can still remotely lock it and wipe it completely with all the data, even when it's powered off. It doesn't come online. Okay. And that's a seismic shift, I think, where people have to move to. Say, one of the weakest links is endpoints. You protect the endpoints, but also when they go missing, you still need to be able to wipe it remotely and manage it remotely as a company.
Okay. So the same what if for endpoint devices, like you protect in advance, or you try to defend. But if it happens, if a malware attack happens, you have the image that you can restore from. If it gets physically taken, then you have the ability to wipe it, to make it completely useless for anyone who stole it, apart from maybe recover a chip or a battery and sell it for spare parts.
You can.
Okay, I'll give it a talk.
Cybersecurity.
I wouldn't hire me yet. Maybe for the fun interactions, but no. Okay, like we've talked a lot about heavy stuff. For me, I mean, I'll go home a little bit paranoid, but also assured that we're working on it. But given that this is your day-to-day life, what do you do to power off completely or to deconnect? Let's say, what's your way of resetting
Yeah, no, I'm a sports guy, so I like to run. I like to do team sports as well. That's always nice. I think that's also important. I have a sleigh dog, so I walk a lot with the dog. I run with the dog, so that's what's helping me to reset. And I think at the same time, every day before I open my email, I spend 30 minutes on reading, learning new things.
Okay.
Because cyber is always changing. No one knows it all. That's why I believe cyber is always a team sport. In the Olympic spirit, where you can help each other, learn from each other, and work on something together. Now, HP is very strong on the endpoints, for example. But you have other companies focusing on the network, on critical applications and identity management, etc., etc. So that ecosystem together is important. So I also try to learn from that always and find the interoperabilities and then help to strengthen companies, to strengthen nation states.
All right. Well, I guess that's what we're here for today as well,
yes.
here at CyberNova. So I won't keep you any longer in the podcast studio, but I'll let you go free to learn, connect, and switch out or interchange IDs.
Yeah,
so, Thank you very much for the conversation and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. Likewise.